there is victory in the blood. There is victory, there is victory, there is victory in the blood. There's deliverance, there's deliverance, there's deliverance in the blood. Deliverance, there's deliverance, there's deliverance in the blood. There's salvation, there's salvation, there's salvation in the blood. Salvation, there's salvation, there's salvation in the blood. There is blessing, there are blessings, there are blessings in the blood. Blessings, there are blessings, there are blessings in the blood. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah in His name. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah in His name. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in His name. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in His name. Ebenezer, Ebenezer, Ebenezer in His name. Ebenezer, Ebenezer, Ebenezer in His name. Hallelujah. 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 We give God all the glory and we thank Him once again for bringing us to the sanctuary to honor and worship Him this power day, to be in His presence, to see His glory and His beauty. So as David said in the Psalms, that I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of God than be elsewhere. So to see His beauty and His glory. When you're in the presence of God, you see God's glory and beauty. And we're reading today from the book of Deuteronomy, which is written by Moses, the man of God. Deuteronomy is the book where he gives a summary of the journey of the children of Israel from the time they were in Egypt till they got to the promised land. It's a concise summary, and if you read it, you know exactly what happened to the children of Israel. And so we start here from where they left Horeb. What happened at Horeb? Horeb was where God met with the children of Israel, and they saw the visible presence of God through the consuming fire on Mount Sinai. They heard the voice of the Lord. They were truly shaken and afraid of God's presence, because God manifested Himself. And God came on the mountain as a huge fire, and everybody was afraid. Even Moses was afraid. And God said He appeared to them so they would learn to fear Him. So after they left Horeb, after they met with God, then they went through the great and terrible wilderness. So the first point is this. Some of us think that because we've had an experience with God, that means that the rest of our lives is going to be trouble-free. No, no, no. You have just begun your journey to paradise when God meets with you. So the Israelite journey began after the encounter on Mount Sinai. Really, that encounter was to prepare them for the journey ahead. God gave them the 10 Commandments written in the tablets of stone, which was written by the hand of God, to guide them in their journey to their destination. You and I have the word of God to guide us as we begin our journeys on this earth. It is that word that will give us victory, blessings, breakthroughs, whatever we need on that journey. But if we neglect that word, then we will be amiss. We will suffer great consequences. So it said, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which we saw by the way of the Mount of the Amorites, as the Lord commanded us, and we came to Kadesh Barnea. And throughout their journeys, God was leading them by the cloud by day and the fire by night, to show them the way during the day and to light their path during the night. So the day had no effect on their journey. God could say, let's travel on the night, and it would be like day to them, because the fire of God was above them, lighting the path. God says, we're going to stay in this spot for 5 days. They will not go anywhere else. So God says, it's time to go on. It's a very important point that in our journey of life, we need to be led by the presence of God Himself. The Israelites in that journey did not take a step outside God's commandments. But many of us, we go on this journey without a pilot. We are riding a ship without a pilot, without a compass. We are just going left, right, everywhere. We don't even know where we're going. That's not the way God made it for us to live. We're supposed to be guided by Spirit every inch of the way. We must not take a step out unless God says so. So that was symbolic of the guidance of the Holy Spirit in the life of a child of God. Constantly being monitored by God. When to go, when not to go, when to rest, when not to rest, when to fight, when not to fight. So until they came to this Kadesh Barnea, which is the border of the Promised Land. They came to the border of the Promised Land. Very important. Many of us, before we reach that border, we've gone through great tribulations. The wilderness experience is not a pleasant experience, but it's supposed to prepare you for the land of promise. In other words, if you don't go through that wilderness experience, you will not be able to handle the Promised Land. So many people right now are going through difficulties and trials that are being tested, their faith is being tested, is in order to prepare them for what God has in store for them down the road. Remember, Moses himself spent 40 years back in the wilderness before God called him and asked him to lead his people from the land of slavery to the land of freedom. Joseph spent 13 years in captivity and prison to be made a prime minister of Egypt. Our Lord Jesus Christ spent 30 years preparing for his 3.5-year ministry. You know, when I think about it, all the things we read in this Bible, only 3.5 years, it really amazes me. And the Bible says that the miracles done by Jesus were so many that even if the whole world was filled with them, it will still be enough. In 3.5 years, he did all that. It's truly amazing. So God prepares you. You go through the wilderness experience before he blesses you. There is no glory without the cross. You must be prepared. Otherwise, that blessing will destroy you. People who get blessed without going through trials and tribulations, the blessings always destroy them. There are so many examples in modern day times. So they came to that border. That border is the border of decision. Because it's where whatever you decide at that time to determine your fate for the rest part of your life, for the rest of your lives. So Moses told them when he goes to the border, said, look, you've come to the mountain of the Amorites, the Lord our God gave to you. Behold, the Lord our God has set the land before you. Okay? Go up and possess it, as the Lord your God has said unto you. Fear not, neither be discouraged. He said, fear not. Why? Because Moses knew the great test thing of human beings is fear. It's the greatest weakness of human beings is fear. He knew that natural human beings, when they enter the promises, they would encounter things that would make them afraid. So the first is that, look, God has given you this land. All you have to do is go in and possess it. Take it, whatever means you have. God has given it to you. That means that all you have to do is just go in, fight a little bit or whatever, and God will give it to you. They were not going to go and possess it in their own strength. They were going on the promise of God to possess it. That means to have it and take it as your own possession. That is what possession means. Many people go in, they take something and it drops. They don't possess it. It says, fear not, neither be discouraged. These are the two things that Satan uses to get Christians down. Fear and discouragement. How? Discouragement. Well, when you see things you thought you're going to do and you cannot do it anymore, or the disappointment, you get somewhere, you expect something, you get something else, you get discouraged. Satan then attacks you with all kinds of thoughts. Throws arrows in your heart, or the God will call you, why is your life like this? Does God really love you? Yeah? It makes you question the faithfulness of God in your life. And the end result is that you turn against God and you follow Satan. That's the end result what is planning for you. That's how Moses warned them. He said, fear not and do not be discouraged. In other words, if you encounter disappointment, don't let it get you down. He said, straighten the weak knees. Many of us will get discouraged so quickly. Little disappointment here, discouragement there, we're down in the dumps, we can't eat, we begin to cry, we give up. No. A person of faith cannot afford to do that. One, you must overcome fear by faith, because in your life, you're going to encounter people, experiences that will make you afraid. So, well, how do you get fear? Fear is the opposite of faith. If you have faith is opposite of fear. So if you have faith, you're going to have fear at the same time. Remember Peter, when he was walking on the water, he had faith. But as soon as he became afraid, he began to sink. So Moses specifically told them, this land is yours. Go and take it. And then put those two things. Don't be afraid, neither be discouraged. Joshua 1 verse 9. Joshua 1 verse 9. If most of us can adopt this attitude, not to be afraid and not be discouraged, we're going to experience a lot of victories in our lives. But we let fear get us down, we become discouraged easily, and we give up hope. One, Joshua 1 verse 9.
Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage.
Yes.
Do not be afraid, nor be discouraged.
That's it.
For the Lord your God is with you.
Do not be afraid or discouraged. Those two things God constantly repeats in the whole Bible, because He knows that the two main weaknesses of human beings: discouragement and fear. And He continues, as you came here to me, every one of you said, well, let's send men before us to search out the land, and let us bring us word about where we must go up and to what cities we shall come. Well, this is a humanistic approach to God's promise. God didn't tell them to send out anybody to go and search the land for them. God was doing the searching for them through the cloud by day and fire by night. He just said, go and possess it. He didn't say, oh, you need spies, you need 12 spies, or you need... No. God didn't tell them that. Let's just go in. Of course, they wanted a strategy. They wanted to search for war. Where are we going to attack? And all this is why they were sending 12 spies. But if they had just gone on their faith that God had given them the land, it wouldn't have mattered whether they went in this way or that way, because God had made the promise, this land is yours. So God was bound by His word to fulfill that promise, and however they attacked the people, they would have won anyway. So the second point is that we must not, because we're given a prophecy, a word of God, we must not use our senses to, change or to try and help God. No, we must just follow the instruction. Not add to God's word or try and distract from it. No. And Moses gave in to them, which was not very wise. And chose 12 men, and one man from every tribe. They went up the mountain, came and to the valley of Eshcol. That valley must be a valley of blessing, because they brought the fruits, and it took 2 of them to even take one branch. The fruits are so big. And they gave them the word. It's a good land, with the Lord that God had given to us. They told them was a good land. They saw with their own eyes. So despite that, you will not go up but rebelled against the command of the Lord thy God. Well, why did they rebel? Remember I told them, don't be afraid, don't be discouraged. But we see what happened. They began to murmur, saying the Lord hated them. That's why He took them from the land of slavery in Egypt to deliver them from the Amorites to destroy them. Well, that doesn't make sense. If God wanted to destroy them, we would have left them in the land of slavery. We wouldn't have taken them out at all. What they were saying doesn't even make logical sense to anybody. Why would God take you from Egypt, take you out, come and destroy you? No. He didn't have to do that. Pharaoh would have done that work for them, destroy them by himself. But this is what happens when we get discouraged. We begin to murmur against God. We begin to say things we mustn't say. So, why was that? So, how shall we go up? Our brethren have destroyed our heart. You can see that word. They've destroyed our hearts. It was discouragement that came in that made them begin to fear and doubt God's promises in their lives. And they said, the people are greater and taller than us, and the cities are walled up to heaven, and we see the children of the sons of Anakim there. Those are the giants. So they believed their eyes and the report of man more than the word of God. The Bible says we walk by faith, not by sight. If you are to walk by sight, you will have no faith, and you're going to go into fear and discouragement. But if you walk by faith, which means you walk based on God's promises, which can never be changed, can never be broken. It wouldn't matter whether a giant was standing in front of you or whether 1 million before you. You will go in and possess that land. Well, there are many examples in the Bible. We know David single-handedly killed lion and a bear. So when he saw Goliath, it didn't mean anything to him. You know, Goliath had withstood him for 40 days. Nobody in the army could face him. He was over 9 feet tall. A seasoned warrior. But only a young teenage boy of 12 or 13 was the one that cut off his head. That is faith. Because David did not rely on his own power. He relied on God's power, which had been with him before. He had seen God's power. How he killed the bear and the lion. So this Goliath didn't mean anything to him. This is what happens when you have an experience with God. Nothing can take it from you. Nothing can shake it. So most of the army in Israel saw Goliath as an impossibility, that there's no way anybody could face him. But David said, this guy is too big to miss for me. He's a sure target, I can easily kill him. See? So our perception determines our behavior towards a situation. If you perceive things as impossible, they'll become impossible for you. You remember the word of God says, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you think you're small, then you behave small, you'll be small to people. If you think you're big, you'll be big to people. Whatever you think is what will happen in your life. So because of the word they had from those spies, that, oh, there were giants there, they were walled to heaven, and, the people that are taller and greater than them, those words were words of discouragement, and it opened the door to fear, and they refused, because nobody wants to die. Once fear comes in, you forget about the promise of God. It drives the promise of God away from your heart, and you begin to walk in fear. See, so Paul was walking on the water. Whilst he focused his eyes on Jesus and the word that says, come, that's what he held on to. Nothing was stopping him from walking on the water. As long as he believed that word, he believed in Jesus and placed down Jesus ahead, he could walk on water. But once he looked on the other side, took his eyes off Jesus, and looking at the winds and storms, immediately fear came in, and discouragement, and immediately began to sink, because fear was not, the fear had left, was replaced by, the faith that left was replaced by fear, and it could no longer maintain the miraculous work it was doing before. You know, that wind was there before he got out of the boats. It was the same wind that was there when he was in the boats. It was the same wind that was there when he was walking on water. So why did that wind now affect him so much? Because he took his eyes off Jesus and put it on the wind and the storm. See, when we take our eyes off Jesus, as the author and finisher of our faith, as a deliverer, as a miracle worker, as a healer, and we put it on our problems, on the winds and storms of our lives, we lose our faith and we begin to walk in fear. And what happens? We begin to sink. You know, Jesus had to grab Paul and say, why did you fear? Oh, you little faith. Faith is a gift of God, a spirit which superintends, it goes over any human activity. It's a principle, it's a spirit that when you have it, you are able to overcome, you're able to do things humanly impossible, because it's supernatural gifts. See? So these people, they said, oh, we went to the land, we saw it's a very good land, but we can't possess the land because there are giants in the land, there Anakin's there, and the wall is wall to heaven. Well, the same thing you and I. When God gives us a promise, and then when we get to the place, we start finding some difficulties, many of us get discouraged and become fearful. Say, oh, if God really told you to come to this place, why are there so many problems? The problems are only there because of you. God knows the problems are there before He sent you there. He also told you to go and possess the land. He said, I've given you, go in and possess it. God was aware that those Anakims were there. He was aware that the walls are walls up to heaven when He told them to go and possess it. But they expected them to believe Him more than the things they saw with their eyes and go in and obey His commandments and destroy the people. You know, those giants, as soon as they appeared, they were just melted away. Just like happened to Jericho. By the time the Israelites got to Jericho, everybody here was shaking with fear because they have had how God divided the Red Sea for them and killed Pharaoh. So God had already gone before them. You know? So these people, that's what they should have done. They should have believed God more than what they saw or what they heard. That's why you and I have to close our eye gates and our ear gates. When you expect a miracle for God, don't listen to doubters. Don't listen to negative people who will say, oh, this thing here, you will not be here. Don't say, I've never had anybody get healed from this cancer you have. Oh, all the ones that have, they died. Don't walk about people like that. You want to walk with people who say, yes, cancer is just a word. God is above cancer. You know? Out of 12 tribes, 12 spies, only 2 give a good report. The other 10 give a bad report. Now, they both saw the same things. Caleb saw the same giants. Joshua saw the same giants and the same walls. But they said, let us go in and possess it. We can possess it. The other 10 said, no, we can't. They're too big for us. They'll kill us. They'll eat us for dinner. Imagine the same view by 2 sets of people and 2 different perceptions. So the 10, of course, are louder than the 2, and they believe the 10 more than the 2. Now, what made Caleb and Joshua say the land was, they were able to possess the land compared to the other 10? Well, it was because of their faith. What was their faith? They had believed in the word of God spoken to them by Moses that God had given them the land. They just believed the word. Well, man of God, Moses told us God has given them the land. We believe him. If that is the case, no matter how big people are, we're going to conquer them because God has said it. Now, you and I, you can say that, oh, I need to hear from the Lord. No, God doesn't have to speak to you physically. His Bible is more than enough because God speaks through His word. God has no new revelation. If you have any problem in this life, you can be sure there's a word of God for you in the Bible. That's why you and I need to read the Bible constantly, because in reading that Bible, you will find a word that applies to your problem situation, and with that word, you're able to overcome that problem. See, the word of God is life and spirits, and we need to believe it. When God says you have been healed, that means that any sickness that comes to your body is a stranger, and you can cast it out. But if you don't know that, you become fearful. Oh, forgive me, diagnosis of breast cancer. Oh, I'm going to do that. You know, because you don't believe it. I read today that this Joni Erickson Tada, that woman evangelist who was paralyzed from the neck from a swimming accident, she had cancer in 2012. And after 7 years, 5 years, she was to get healed, but the cancer has come back now. You know? So they refuse to obey God. When God says, do this, and you don't do it, there are going to be penalties and consequences. Terrible ones for that matter. And you cannot blame God again. Most of us, this is what happens to us. God tells us something, we look at the wind, we look at the problems, hey, if you do this, you're going to die, they're going to take your property, and we listen to them more than God. How do we think God feels? God says, I'm your creator, I made the heaven and earth, and I'm telling you to do this, and you're refusing me. You rather listen to a mere mortal like yourself? Who is more important, me or the men and women you are listening to? Well, don't get upset. Just like if you and I told somebody to do something, like our children, and they didn't do it, they believe their friends more. See? So Moses told them, dread not. He said it again. Don't be afraid. A dread is a big fear. It's an ordinary fear. It's a deep-rooted fear. So neither be afraid of them. Now here's the man of God that God was using, telling them all these things, and yet they didn't believe him. There was no man like Moses, because God said he spoke to him mouth to mouth as a man speaks to his friend. And they knew that, yet they did not believe him. So the Lord your God, who goes before you, shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes. That was, Moses took them back. Said, look, if you're having any doubts in your heart, remember what God did in Egypt. How he slew all the firstborn of the Egyptians and their animals. How he killed Pharaoh in the Red Sea. How he divided the Red Sea. How he plagued Egypt with 10 plagues. How the water became blood. The plague of flies. The plague of darkness. The plague of boils. That was, whenever you're having a problem, remember what God has done in your life. That should give you faith to carry on. Remember how I delivered you, how I saved you from your calamities. That's what Moses did. Moses reminded them, look, remember what he did in Egypt. Don't go into this fear. If he would save you from Pharaoh, who had enslaved you for so many years, if you would see with your own eyes Pharaoh floating in the Red Sea, having been drowned, then surely God can deliver you from this. Trust him. Have faith in him. See? That's the message for us today. We must not let what we see overrule what God has told us. And you say, I don't know what God's word about my situation. Then pick up your Bible and start reading. As you are reading it, God will direct you to the path and you get the Rhema word for your situation. So Moses again encouraged them not to be afraid. And reminded them what God did in Egypt. He said, in the wilderness where you were see how the Lord your God bore you in his arms, like a man bears his son, until you came to this place. Because in that wilderness they fought many great kings and defeated them. God gave them water from the rock. Of course, they had manna from heaven. And so many other miracles that God did for them. This is why miracles cannot change anybody's heart. Some people think that, oh, if only God can show me a miracle, like they went to Jesus and said, show us a sign. No. No matter the number of signs you see, it does not give you faith. It is the word of God that will give you faith. Because the Israelites saw more miracles than any human being, yet they rebelled against God's commandment because of fear. So may the Spirit of God deliver us from the spirit of fear. May he give us his faith, because Jesus is the author, the beginning and the ending of our faith. Ask for his faith. If you face any trial, situation which is making you afraid, say, Jesus, grant me your faith. Well, you can actually get that faith by reading the word of God, because the Bible says that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. May God bless you once. Amen.